Dr. Mary Ann Harris.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to try and be innovative and use some storytelling techniques. So bear with me. Hey, y'all, here they come. Here they come. Those young entrepreneurs. Not only the culture keepers, but the storytellers, the poets, the dishwashers, the service workers, the lawyers, the preachers, the teachers. They here. So get ready for it. But as I travel along my journey of becoming a storyteller, I thought about what really made me call myself an entrepreneur. Well, I thought about my big mama Annie Mae, and I said it was her. It was she that got me started. Because see, Big Mama Annie Mae used to pay me to read to all the children in the neighborhood down in Moultrie, Georgia. But they didn't know I couldn't read. I was just making up the stories from the pictures. They didn't know it because they couldn't read either. But what inspired me to make my entrepreneur, to keep my entrepreneurship alive? I'll tell you, it was Rosa Parks, the courage of Rosa Parks. You see, she didn't get up when she was told to get up off that bus and move to the back. She sat down. So courage is one of those inspirational spirits that I possess. Along the same line, I've always thought that I was emotionally connected to Fannie Lou Hamer. Because you see, Fannie Lou Hamer was compassionate. And that's one of my entrepreneurship spirits also. Being compassionate. She was compassionate because she didn't vote till she was over 44 years old. She never registered. And in order for her to register to vote, she had to fight to register, to get other people to register. And she testified before the Senate committee of the 1964 Democratic Convention. So the story goes that she was compassionate, and I find that I am compassionate in helping others. Moving on down, and Fannie Lou Hamer, by the way, was from Mississippi. Moving on down, I think about my creativity. That keeps the entrepreneurship spirit alive in me also. And when I think about creativity, think about Maya Angelou. Because, see, she's one of my favorites. She can write a poem just like that. Pick it up, turn a poem into a story and a story into a book. Well, one thing I like about Maya Angelou is she said, do the best you can. And then keep doing it. And if you don't know, just keep going and keep doing it, and you'll get better. So I like Maya Angelou. It's creativity. Think about being a caring, thoughtful person. And you know who I always thought was that? Harriet Tubman. Because, see, Harriet Tubman considered everybody else's freedom along with her freedom. First, she got herself free and she went back south. She went back 19 times, they say. Eloise Greenfield wrote this poem about Harriet Tubman. And the poem said that Harriet Tubman didn't take no stuff and wasn't scared of nobody either. She went back 19 times to the South to free her Black sisters and brothers. And so If that's not caring, what is? And as I compare myself to Harriet Tubman, think about all the children that I've pulled along the way as I worked in the high schools, the middle schools, the elementary schools, the preschools, not just in Ohio, but across the country, because I've taken my stories across the country. Well, you may say, well, how did I get started with this entrepreneurship storytelling, and where did I get the money from? Well, I get the money from the city, the councilmen in different wards, and I apply for money from different organizations, write my story or goals and objectives down, and I get that money for a certain amount of time to do special programs. It's not that I'm all about money, but sometimes I need a drummer. I need some to encourage the young people uh, to get transportation to take them along so that they can connect and participate in activities with the elderly and youth from other organizations. So the money is one of those things that I think is sometimes it's here and sometimes it's not. If you talk about the pros and cons of my business, and my business is a nonprofit business. It's been in business since 1987. You see, it came about as a result of my doctoral dissertation topic. Uh, and that topic dealt with strengthening the attitudes of the youth toward the elderly. It was a study that I conducted a long, long time ago. And if you look that study up, it was by Palmore. It's still out there, but it's not one of those new studies. But the bottom line is, from whether it was 1987 to 2007 to 2017, and even in going on into 2027, the attitudes of youth toward their elders is just about the same. They're not being compassionate or thinking that they deserve to have a chance. Everybody want to push them aside, but there is wisdom. Wisdom is something that you just don't pull off the tree or write it down. It's something that you got to experience and take it and share it with others so that they too can learn from your wisdom. My big mama Annie Mae's wisdom was not just, hey, just keep working at it, you'll get there. You know what she told me? She said, child, you ain't gonna get nothing if you don't get up and work for it, because there's nothing free out here. And so when I think about wisdom, I always think about ain't nothing free. You got to work for what you get. And when you get discouraged, she said, just keep going. Because everybody got to get discouraged before they can pick themselves up and move ahead. And she said, you know what? When you fold your hands together and look up in the sky, you're going to see one that sits high and looks low. And everybody going at some point in time going to have to take a look and think about that. Because you see, she had faith. She said, faith, you can't do nothing without faith. Because if you think you can, you're going to be asking for mercy. And mercy is not just coming because you ask. So I believe that my creative storytelling and creative activities with the youth and the elderly plays a part in helping both the elderly and the youth learn to respect each other. They learn to teach the skills that they know, and the elderly learning something from the youth. Because you see, they all got grandchildren, and if they don't have grandchildren, they come in contact with children in the church or in the neighborhood. And at some point in time, that child may knock on their door and say, Miss Annie Mae, my mama need a cup of sugar. Can she buy a cup of sugar? And you know what Miss Annie Mae is waiting for? She's waiting for them to say, please. And I tell you, it works. Those visions are happening today. I had some pictures, but I forgot to bring them. Right now, for Black History Month, I'm doing storytelling in a center called Story Point. And on it was in January, I went over and I did storytelling special activities. I don't have the pictures, but we were working on vision boards. And at this particular activity, there were no children, but there were uh, a lot of my Kappa Alpha sisters. So I made sure I put the AKA on my vision board, and they each had boards. We had about 5 to 10 folks in the group. They were each able to invite a friend. These were actually members of my sorority who are older sorors, and they were at Story Point. And Story Point is a assisted living facility for those who are having memory issues. And they always, every time you turn around, they're calling for me. Can you come back when you're coming back? I said, well, next time we got to connect up virtually with a uh, neighborhood rec center or someone in the neighborhood so that we can get the children involved and they can work on their vision boards also. So we're working on that for Women's History Month. I try and get there at least once a month. And I have a small grant to work in the adjacent neighborhood, the Harvard neighborhood, but that particular activity is in the Shaker area. But I go there anyway because I have a compassion. I'm uh, I'm caring, and I want to help everybody, not just those who are paying me, but everybody. Because you see, the more we help others, the more we help ourselves. So I leave you with this: peace. We say peace. We do this. Peace. Everybody can try it. Peace, love, respect for everybody. Let's do it again. Peace, love, respect for everybody. And that's my vision and my story. There it is.